Okay, so what do we need to create a sourdough starter? First thing is a small jar. You can use, this is a bowl mason type jar. You can use an old jam jar from a jam or something. Just make sure you've cleaned it well because you don't want it to be dirty or anything. You need flour, and I like to use an organic whole wheat flour to get the starter going. I find it works better, but you can make this with any flour. This is nothing to be afraid of. It's not overcomplicated. So just make sure that you've got your flour, some water, and a spoon. I mean, that's literally all you need to make it. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn on the scale, and I want to make sure that we're in grams, not ounces. I do everything in grams. And put the jar on, zero it out, and we're going to put, very simply, 30 grams of flour into the jar. 16, 24, 27. You don't have to be precise. We'll call that good. We're at about 28, 29. And then the same amount of water. So we'll bring it up to 60 grams. That's 50. Okay, there's 58. That's about 1-to-1 ratio. And then we're going to mix it up. I use the handle of the spoon, it's just easier. And we're just going to combine the ingredients, and it makes a thick paste. You don't want it to be too runny, you don't want it to be too thick, but the 50-50 mixture seems to work pretty well to create what you need here. Just make sure you give it a thorough mixing and make sure that all of the flour is fully dissolved. Which it looks like it is. And then I like to just kind of scrape down the sides of the jar. The less paste that's stuck to the side of the jar, the easier it is to see inside. And that looks like that's about it. Okay, so now we have our initial mix. So what I'll do now is I'll use a rubber band or a marker pen, like an erasable marker pen, and I'm just going to draw a line on the jar so I can monitor the level of where it's at. And then we leave it for 2 days. So put the lid on. Now put the lid on very loosely, because this will create gas and you don't want the jar to crack or anything like that. So just loosely on and set it aside on the counter for 2 days. So we're going to come back in 2 days and check on this. Okay, so it has now been 48 hours, 2 days, and I have to admit I'm surprised. Usually at this point, you'll see some slight movement in your starter, some bubbles appearing. You can tell that something's happening and it's waking up. But my starter that we started 2 days ago has gone crazy. So the line down below here was the line when we mixed it up. And today, when I got up this morning, I drew a line and it's even increased beyond that. So you can see inside the jar, it's aerated, it's bubbly. So this right here, for a 2-day-old starter, is exceptional. You know, don't expect yours will do that, but that's one of the reasons why I used whole wheat flour. For some reason, the whole wheat flour must contain more yeast spores or something, and it always acts better. This jar here, this is my starter that I've been using for years, and when I bake bread, I just leave about a tablespoon in this jar, very small amount, and then I'll add 30 grams of flour, 30 grams of water, and I used white flour. You can't really see much going on in there, but believe me, the yeast is in there. And I put it in the fridge. So that pretty much shuts down any activity with it. I've kept this in the fridge for several months before, and it's been fine. But when I take this out of the fridge because I'm going to make sourdough the next day, I'll bring it out the day before and I'll add 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water, because I use 100 grams of starter in my my sourdough recipe. And overnight, I'll wake up in the morning and it will be grown similar to what's happened here. Also, just, if you don't watch any other videos, I always use a 50-50 mix on the starter. So I use 50% white flour, 50% whole wheat flour, and that seems to do the best job. But in this case, when I'd baked my last loaf, I just use white flour to maintain it in the fridge, and then when I decide I want to wake it up and get it active for baking, I use a 50-50 flour mix. So anyway, because this has been so exceptional, and it really has, I mean, this is probably one of the best examples I've ever made in the first 2 days. This jar is going to be too small, so I'm going to swap it over into a larger jar. So you'll see when I take it out, I ended up taking the metal lid out of this and just used a bit of plastic wrap on the jar. But you'll see when I kind of put a spoon in here, you can just see the air in there. I mean, look at that, that's amazing. So I'm going to move this into this jar. And I can smell the sourdough starter smell right now. It's a distinctive smell. You'll get to know it. Okay, so believe it or not, there is enough residue in there that if we wanted to create another starter, we could just add flour and water into that, and that would get going. But we're going to put all of this into a larger jar. And we don't discard anything at this point because we're just trying to grow it. And then we're going to feed it. So you'll quite often hear people feeding their starter. So we're going to put that on the scale. Once again, we're working in grams, and we'll zero it out. And I'm going to put, this is just white flour on this time. You could use 50-50, you could continue to use whole wheat, but because it's woken up, I'm not too worried about it. So we'll go ahead and get our 30 grams of flour. Okay, we're at 30 grams. And, 31. Okay, so we'll put 31 grams of water in. Okay, close enough. And so there we are. You can kind of see what's going on in there, and then we're just going to mix it up. Now, sometimes if you come to your starter after 48 hours and absolutely nothing has happened, give it another day, and then it should be good. And then you feed it just like this, so you don't discard anything, you just give it a feeding. And then after this, we're going to start discarding half of it and then feeding it. And we would continue to do that every single day until we have a strong starter. And that would be a starter that doubles in size in, anywhere from 6 to 12 to 18 hours. If you're double in size in that period of time, you've got yourself a nice strong starter, and that's the point when you can start baking bread with it. But right now, believe it or not, after 2 days, I actually would say that I have that, and that is exceptional. So the room temperature that this has been in, just for you to know, has been averaging between about 68 degrees and maybe 67 degrees at a low and about 70 degrees at a high. So nothing too high. Okay, so there we go. So we've mixed it up in there. I'm going to put another line on the jar, and then we'll come back in another day and take a look. There's already a bubble inside there, so yeah, this is a very active starter. But anyway, we'll come back in 24 hours and take a look at this. Okay, so it's been 24 hours now since we put the starter into this larger jar, and just because it was growing so much, it wouldn't fit in the other jar. And so here's what happened. So I like to mark it as it's happening. The bottom line is where we started. That's how much was in there, because I added the starter plus 30 grams of flour and 30 grams of water. And in 6 hours, it more than doubled. You can see the line there. And in, I think, about 2 hours more, so that was 8 hours total, it went to that top line. I would say it tripled in volume. This is an extremely strong starter. We're 3 days in now, and this is how strong it is. And you can see in there what it looks like as I'm tilting the jar. It's pulling away. It's full of air bubbles, CO2 bubbles. I mean, this stuff is crazy. So what also happened, you can see, because we're at the 24-hour mark right now, it rose all the way up to this upper line, and it's now almost back down to where we started. A little higher, but not much. So basically what that means is that this starter ate everything in there and ran out of food, and it's starting to collapse. So when you overproof a loaf, that's kind of the same thing that's happening. It rises to its maximum amount, and then it starts to collapse and go back down. So that's something you always have to watch out for. But in this case, this starter is ready to use. It is very active, very strong. But let's just say yours didn't do this. So you're at the 2-day mark right now, and you're seeing a couple of bubbles, things are starting to happen. That's great. Even if it's not showing much, it's still, you could leave it to a 3rd day, that would be fine. And then when you start to see things happening, that's when you add an extra 30 grams of flour, 30 grams of water. And then after that, once you can see it starting to grow, you start discarding. So you would discard half of it and add 30 grams, 30 grams. And do that every day up to maybe about a week, until you decide that your starter is strong and active. When you're feeding it and it's growing in less than 24 hours, maybe anywhere from 6 to 12 hours, it's doubling in size, then you have an active starter that's ready to use. And what I will do with that, so in this instance, this starter right here, I'm actually not going to throw any away. I don't really need to. I'm just going to add 30 grams of fresh flour into it because it needs some food, and 30 grams of water. And I'm going to stick this in the fridge until I'm ready to use it. So, and it'll just sit there. So as I showed you before, this is the one I've had for years, and it's just sitting in limbo in the fridge right now. It's been in there. The last time I make sourdough for myself, once a week. This one actually hasn't been used in about 6 days. So I'm going to make sourdough tomorrow, so I will feed this. So what I'll do with this is, because I'm going to make sourdough tomorrow and I use 100 grams of starter in my sourdough, I'm going to feed this 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water. And then of course tomorrow, when I take out the 100 grams, I should be left with about this much. So, and of course it will have risen. Now, last week when I made it late at night, probably 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. And when I got up in the morning to make the bread, it actually had not doubled. It had only gone up maybe about a third or a half more. But that's okay, I made the bread anyway. I know this is an active starter, so I wasn't worried about it. The house was cold that night, and that slowed down the fermentation. So temperature does affect this considerably. So that's just something to look out for. But right now, that's my standard one. And this now, gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do with this because this thing's a beast. So I think I'll make a loaf of bread out of this weekend. I think I might actually not use this one, in which case I won't discard any of this today. I'm just going to add 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water, and then I'll be baking with this tomorrow, which I'll record as well and put up on the channel. And you know, the other thing I'll mention, when you're going to bake the next day, I have found the best combination is 50% just plain flour, plain white flour, unbleached of course, I use organic, and 50% whole wheat. So you'd put 25 grams of the plain flour, 25 grams of whole wheat, and 50 grams of water. And I've found that that is a great food to get this thing going overnight. And then you bake your bread tomorrow. So I have a great recipe for same-day sourdough. It's kind of a beginner-proof loaf. And I'll be posting that and linking it up in the video and in the comments. And thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions, post them in the comments and I'll answer them. And please subscribe. And you know, we've got a lot of bakes coming: focaccia, sourdough, a regular yeasted loaf, yeasted baguettes, and other bread recipes. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.